Hi, it's Dr. Nick from my dojo here in Mallorca, Chief Instructor of Kono Karate, the Scientific Club. Sorry if I'm sweating, it's nearly 40 degrees here again. And even the air conditioning, oh man. I shouldn't complain. This video is how to punch as hard as Mike Tyson, no matter how big or little you are. It's how also that women can punch as hard as a man. Now they say that the minute you put an equation in a book, you lose 50% of your readers straight away. And that's a pity, because I've got to introduce you to one basic equation which you already know about. It's a very easy one, so please stay with me, because with this very little equation, it's going to have no figures in, just words. I'm going to explain to you all about how hard you kick, why you kick, punches, when you drive, how you hit a ball in tennis, in cricket, how you do everything like that. It's explained with one simple equation, and we're going to show you why all this nonsense you've been taught for years, you need a firm stance in which to punch. No, you don't. If you did, then Muhammad Ali would have stood in long stance, wouldn't he? The best punches in the world are from English boxing. That's the name of the sport, English boxing. They deliberately train, they put a circle of rubber band around their legs so they don't go too wide. But all these stances have nothing to do with the force of your punch or your kick. Now I'm going to introduce you to this equation. I'm going to take you to my other side of my dojo. This is where I teach science. We're going to take you over here. Okay. Now, let me introduce you to my granddaughter, Jessica. And Jessica is going to tell you a law, one of Newton's laws, that you already know. Everybody has been taught Newton's laws at school. I promise you have. When you were about 13, you were taught it in British schools. It's on the national curriculum. How do I know? Because I was on the panel that set the national curriculum for physics. Okay? And you were taught 3 Newton's laws, and you've remembered one of them. And everybody remembers one of them, which is the third one. What's the third one?
Every action has an equal and opposite reaction.
Remember that one? If you hit something, it hits you back just as hard as you hit it. Now, all right, that's quite a useful one. But we want the second one here, right? Which is?
Force equals mass times acceleration.
Yes, now go away, why everyone will still tolerate you. Okay, now you learnt that at school, I promise you, and then you forgot it, and why shouldn't you? Unless you're using it all the time, why the hell should you bother to remember it? It's this. Let me write it down for you. Force equals mass times acceleration. I will just put that because I shall probably spell it wrongly. I always do in lesson. Now let's write that down a better way so you can understand it better. Mass times acceleration equals force. That's the equation. That's the only equation. It is so important that a lot of my instructors actually write it on the wall. They've got it above the Kono Karate sign. If you don't understand that equation, there's no way you're going to get your black belt. They all know I will ask you. Let's make this even easier for you. Now, if there's any pedant physics or maths teachers in amongst you, they will insist there's an X here. Right? Now, this is a brilliant illustration of just why everyone gives up science and maths and takes art subjects. That's why there are 8 times the number of people taking art subjects than there is taking science subjects, because you get some idiot teacher who puts you off. That X equals 1, it doesn't apply. The only answer to these people who insist you put the X in is to punch them in the mouth. You have my permission, go ahead with it. Let's make this so it's understandable. Weight and mass are completely different. Only as you're on the earth, they're not. Mass is how many bits of substance that are in something, how many neutrons and protons there are. Weight is the force of gravity on those. But that's the same thing if you're on the earth. So this applies for everyone, unless you're going to become an astronaut and go to the space station or the moon, and then it'd be slightly different. But as it is, we can replace mass by weight. times acceleration. What the hell is acceleration? No, it's not what you think. Acceleration is just speed in a direction. It's a vector, you can plot it on a graph. No one wants to do that except these pedants. So we can replace acceleration by speed equals force. This equals F equals ma. That's the short way of remembering it. This governs everything. This is how hard you punch. This is how hard you kick. This is how hard two planets hitting each other are. If you get shot by a bullet, the force of the bullet is the weight of the bullet multiplied by the speed. The Magnum 44 used to be the most powerful handgun in the world. Remember Dirty Harry, some of the older ones of you. It is because the bullet weighed so much and the speed was nearly the same. You increase the speed or you increase the weight, you get more force. The force of this force of this punch, it's measured in newtons and it's very difficult to really imagine a newton. So I tell you how I think of it. If you pick an apple up and move it to your mouth, that's about the force of 1 newton. So if you're punching, you can measure it in newtons. Now let's not go down that road, there's no need for you to understand that, right? Your force of your punch is governed by two things. How much body weight that is behind it multiplied by the speed. And nothing else. Nothing. Your muscles have got nothing to do with it. Your stance have nothing to do with it. Unless your stance helps you to put more body weight behind it or helps you your speed, it has no effect. Nothing else. As you punch and you breathe out, does it make it faster? And some people it does. Therefore, that may well help the force of the punch or the kick. It's no good standing there doing a punch like this. All you've got is the weight of the arm multiplied by the speed. Your speed is determined, we'll do another lesson on this later on, by the number of fast twitch muscle fibers you have in your body. It's what you're born with, what you were given in the womb. You can do little to pick that up. You can make yourself faster, but the speed merchants were born speed merchants. You can't train Usain Bolt to run a marathon, not to run it well. He can either sprint or you can long distance. It's muscle fibers you're born with. You can't change it. Now you can make these punches faster. The fact is you'll never equal the superstar who's born with speed, right? So you can make your punches powerful by putting your weight behind it. I was on about this last week. It's the weight multiplied by the speed. Eat it. Power from the earth. The life force coming up from your feet here into your body enables you to throw a punch. What a load of crap. Where do they get this nonsense from? Newton, the second best, greatest scientist who ever lived. Right? He is telling you that the only thing governing the force of this punch is the weight, the body weight, multiplied by the speed. So if you've got Jessica, come here. Jessica weighs about the weight of my one leg. There's nothing to her. Look, she hardly exists. Right? Now I can punch quite hard because I've got a lot of too much weight to put behind it. Right? So she has got a third of my body weight. Okay? To punch. Punch. Don't get there. Yes? But she can't put as much body weight behind it as I can. What she works on is putting as much of her whole body weight as she can. Okay? What she does is make it sure it's faster. Because if she can punch at 3 times my speed, she will be punching with the same force as I'm punching with. She can make that 3 times faster than this, and we both put our full body weight behind it. It's the same force. So you've either got to put the speed up or put more body weight behind it. There's one other thing that makes her able to punch better. Look at her fist here. What's it? Half the size of mine. Half the size of mine, right? So when he hits me, it goes in twice as far as me hitting her. This is why when you're an instructor, you line the kids up and say, come hit me here, hit me here. And they hit you there and you go, oh, that hurt. And you wait till they're gone and you think, oh damn, I'm not doing that again. It's because their fists are so little. The force is dissipated over a much smaller area. It goes in much further. So a woman can hit as hard as a man. She can kick as hard as a man, even though she's not nearly as strong. Don't blame me, blame God. I didn't make you, right? A woman is not nearly as strong as a man, but by working on the speed, she can punch harder. Thank you, Jessica. Right, thank you for not hitting me. That's the last equation I'm ever going to teach you. And it's the most basic one. I want you to remember it. Every time you see something when two cars hit each other, right? If you get run over by a lorry doing 1 mile an hour, it's the weight of the lorry multiplied by the 1 mile an hour. Yes? If you run over by a Mini doing 30 miles an hour, it's probably hitting you with the same force. You can work this out. It goes in every part of your life. Please try and remember that equation. It means it allows you, when you've got an instructor talking this load of nonsense to the front, to think to yourself, no, that doesn't apply. But let me just say this to you. Don't tell him that or her that. They're repeating what their instructor told them, and right back for 2,000 years. And they believe it. I can't teach them they're wrong, and I wouldn't have the conceit to try. All I can do is try and teach you the right scientific way. That's all from my dojo here in Mallorca. I hope you all have weather nearly as good as us at home. And see you next week. Thank you.